Okay, so good evening, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank all of you for spending a valuable time to be here with us tonight. And a special mention and a heartfelt gratitude to CAFET and Kerala Police Cyberdome for sponsoring this event. So before we begin with today's session, let me first introduce EvilHoursX and our event EvilWeek to all of you. So EvilHoursX is Wattlecorp's external cybersecurity community. That is, it was started with an aim to bring together a group of people who are interested and passionate about the field of cybersecurity so that we can exchange knowledge and learn from each other. And currently we're based out of Kerala, but we are rapidly expanding to Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh as well. And coming to Evil Week, it is our first large-scale virtual event which spans over 7 days. And on each day, we have a special session for you in a specific field of cybersecurity. As you know, the field is very vast, and we have planned the session in such a way that anyone who's interested in the field of cybersecurity will be able to get a fair idea of what's in store for them by the end of the week. So we start with the basics, and then we slowly progress onto intermediate and more advanced concepts throughout the week. And on the last day, that is on June 7th, we have a very special treat for all of you. That is, we'll be inviting some of the top cybersecurity professionals in India to interact with you all so that you can ask your questions and your doubts. So we'll be having Mr. Prasanna Kumar, who's a threat hunter at Color Tokens, and we'll be having Mr. Veerababu, who who's also more popularly known as Mr. IoT. He's a security engineer at Restaurant. We'll be having Mr. Ashik with us, who is a senior pen tester at IBM. And we'll also have our very own CEO and CTO, Mr. Zuhair and Mr. Karthik with us. So don't miss out on this opportunity to interact with the best in the field. I'm sure you'll gain some valuable knowledge. And coming to today's speakers, we have Danwand and Majesty with us to present a session on ethical hacking, the introduction to ethical hacking. So Danwand is a BSc Computer Science student at College of Applied Sciences, Tamarasheri. And Majesty is a CSE student at AWH Engineering College. And she's also a core team member of EvilHoursX. And Danwand is also a volunteer at Kerala Police Cyberdome. So I hope you enjoy the session. Over to you, Danwand and Majesty.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So good evening all. Hope you are doing well. So welcome to today's session. So we are here with day one of Evil Week, and today we have introduction to cyberspace. So let's get started. So Danwand, can you move to the next slide? Yes. So yeah, fine. Okay. So today in today's sessions we'll be dealing with some ethical hacking concepts as well as Linux and basic concepts regarding that. So we will be starting from the scratch so that as a beginner it will be great for you guys. So let's see what are things we are going to learn through this session. So hacking ethical, yes, you have heard of this terms hacking as well as ethical hacking and all such things. So it's a familiar term for you guys. But we have to understand the concept regarding what is hackers, what is things. Then we will be looking onto the advantages. Advantages in the sense, hiring an ethical hacker into a cyber security field and cyber security organizations and all such things. You will be dealing with that. Then we will be dealing with types of hackers. So there is a misconception that hacking is always wrong. But I want to prove you guys it's not like that. It's purely based on the intention of the hackers. So let's see that in types of hackers. Then we will be dealing with phases of hacking. There are 5-6 phases. So we will be dealing with each of them. Then we have teaming. Theming in the sense, there are different colors of theming. So like red, blue, purple, and all such things. Then we move on to common types of attacks. Common types of attacks like denial of service attack, then phishing attacks such as email attacks and all such things. Then you have the Linux basics. Okay, so and much more are there. So let's see, let's get started. So can we move to the next slide? Danwand? Yes. So we live in a technology dependent world, right? So the internet has become an unavoidable part of our life. So due to extensive dependence on the web, there is a problem that arises, like protecting all our digital data, such as banking, net banking, then account credentials, as well as medical reports and all such things. Then so there arises the concept of cybersecurity actually. So let me take a moment to remind you one of the notable hacks. So WannaCry ransomware attack. So for those who don't know, so this took place in May 2017. So almost 230,000 computers across 150 countries were infected with this ransomware. So this attack targeted the outdated versions of Windows. So basically, outdated versions of Windows. Okay.
Majesty, I think you can continue. That was a network issue.
Okay.
And your video will be taken off. Your video will be taken off because it will be a network issue if you turn on the video. You can continue.
Okay. So basically, I was talking about the WannaCry ransomware attack. So this attack actually targeted the outdated versions of Windows. So outdated versions of Windows, that is the there was an update for Windows in April 2017. So those who didn't do that, they were targeted in this attack. So one another notable hack is in the history of NASA hack. What happened there is the hacker just downloaded the source code that was used to run the International Space Station. And to fix this, NASA had to go into shutdown for 3 weeks. So another interesting one is like Noble hack. So here the hacker hacked the several banks of world and stole the money. So as the name suggests, it was a noble one, as he donated this amount to countries that were below the poverty line and suffering. But of course, even though it was noble, it is still an illegal act. So all these attacks that I mentioned are called cyber attacks, and these attacks affect our online security. And these cyber attacks have led to a misconception among masses that the hacking is a wrong and illegal thing. But that's not the whole story. To really understand about hacking, let's dive into the root concept of hacking. So first of all, let's see what is hacking. So hacking is basically gaining unauthorized access into a computer system or a group of computer systems. In simpler terms, hacking is basically stealing. So now stealing can be done for two things, basically. So it can be done for, stealing for illegal purposes, or it can be done for understanding how the stealing can take place and understand the defenses against them. The second possibility is that what I'm going to deal today. So let's see what is ethical hacking. Danwand, can you move the slide? Yes. So what is ethical hacking? So ethical hacking is nothing but finding the vulnerabilities in the system and creating defenses to secure the system from the bad guys or the malicious hackers. So the difference that we can spot here is ethical hackers are guided by law and seek the permission of the owner of the system. Let me make this concept clear, with an example. So suppose there is a company like ABC and Co, and its profit is actually increasing day by day. So everything was running smooth until a hacker decided to hack the data of this company and sell the information in the dark web. The hacker asked the company owner to pay for the data he collected, but the owner refused to pay the money, and so the hacker solved the secrets in the dark web and earned his money. So doing so put all the customers of the company at risk. The reputation of ABC and customers' confidence in it was lost, and the owner was liable to his customers. So this situation where the owner is liable to the customers led him to think like, what happened with the security systems in the company? So he was thinking like that. So he thought that someone who thinks in the similar way of that of a malicious hacker can solve this. So he hired a hacker in the company. So in this case, the hacker just hacked the data of the company and asked to pay as a malicious hacker, as the hacker who was hired in the company is basically an ethical hacker. So ethical hacker, basically he also thinks in the similar way of that of the malicious hacker, but he finds the vulnerability and he just reports it. So that's a major difference between the ethical hacker as well as a malicious hacker. So if you guys ask me like, why ethical hacking? So when you think, like information is something most valuable assets of an organization. So keeping information secure is a important thing. So hacking can lead to loss of the company's reputation and all such things. So ethical hacking puts them a step ahead of the cyber criminals who would otherwise lead to the loss of business. So ethical hacker, so let's see. So can you just move the slide? So what I have mentioned is ethical hacker and malicious hacker. Just the major difference is that based on their intention. So advantages of ethical hacker in an organization. That is actually what I was talking in the through that example. So it's evident that by that the hacker who hacked the company just spoiled the reputation of the company, the customer's confidence, and all such things. So in order to avoid that situation, the organization just continuously hires ethical hackers. So that's what they do. So advantages of ethical hacker in an organization is like they detect the threats, they increase the productivity, they guard the reputation of the company, inspires the customer confidence, and all such things. Let's move on to the next slide. Yes. So let's see some add-ons as ethical hacker. What all add-ons can you do? Means other than the passion and skill set for the ethical hacking, let's see what all things you can add on. So these are not mandatory, but still if you have these skills, it's helpful. That's all. So operating environment. Talking about operating environment, Windows, Linux, Unix, Macs, and you are familiar with all such things. So you will be learning the Linux basics basically in the upcoming section as well. So talking about programming language, you can choose any programming language of your choice like HTML, PHP, Python, SQL, or JavaScript, and all such things. Then networking. So you can't sit somewhere, isolated, and you can't do hacking and all such things. So you should be good at networking. Then you should, as a word suggests here, ethical hacker. So you should be aware about the security laws as well as the if you have a certification like certified ethical hacker or licensed penetration tester, you just add on. So the endless growth of technologies in this area is proportional to the number of cyber crimes, and it is expected to have 6 trillion attacks by the end of 2021. So in order to tackle this, the organizations are continuously hiring cybersecurity professionals. So the average annual salary of an ethical hacker is about 7 lakh. So talking about the types of hackers. So types of hackers, as I've already mentioned, cyber attacks have led to misconception that the hacking is wrong. A hacker can be malicious or ethical. It depends upon their intention. So let's see some types of hackers. So let's move on. Okay. So basically different types of hackers are like black, white, and gray. So black, basically they are the individuals with extraordinary computing skills, restoring to malicious or destructive activities. So they illegally hack into a system for their monetary benefit. White hat hackers, they are basically the ethical hacker itself. So they exploit vulnerabilities in a system by hacking into it with the permission in order to defend the organization with the form. This form of hacking is always legal and ethical. So gray hat hackers, talking about gray hat hackers, they are, as the color indicates, they are the blend of both. Blend of both means blend of black as well as white. So they discover the system vulnerabilities and report it to the system owners, but they do this without the permission, and sometimes they also ask for money in return. So let's have a look at some other types as well. Moving to the next slide. Yes. So we have some other types like suicide hacker, script kiddie, cyber terrorist, as well as state-sponsored hacker. And apart from that, there is also hacktivist kind of hacker. So let's see. So suicide hacker, they are not feared about jail or punishment, but their only intention or the motive is to destroy. But what makes them different from that of a black hat hacker is they claim for what they do. Then comes the script kiddie. Script kiddie, they are just unskilled. They don't know much about it, but they just use the tools which is already available to them, which is already created by black hat hackers. Coming on to cyber terrorists, these individuals have a political beliefs or motive to create fear by a large-scale disruption of computer networks. State-sponsored hackers, talking about it doesn't have any, any professional job portfolio, but it is said that every country has this type of hacking to spy on information systems of other government. So other than these, as I have already mentioned you guys, hacktivists are those individuals who promote a political agenda by hacking, especially detaching or disabling a website. So these are the different types of hackers. So by this, it is clear to you that everything just depends on the intention of a hacker, whether it is malicious or is it ethical or all such things. Depends on the intention or their motive. Going on to the next slide. Phases of hacking. Yes. So wait. Yes. Please. Okay. So it is said that there is cyber attacks in every 39 seconds. So if you are a beginner and if you have seen hacking in movies, in fact, hacking is not that simple as you see in movies. So you can gain something only through practice. Practice, and practice. That's the only way you can gain something. So let's see the first phase of hacking, reconnaissance. So reconnaissance is the phase where you collect the basic information regarding the target. Next phase is scanning. Danwand? Yes, scanning. So in this phase, you find the loophole or the weak point to enter the system. Next phase comes like gaining access or exploitation phase. So gaining access or exploitation phase. In this phase, you will actually hack into the system. So these are phases of hacking basically, but this is the phase where you attack, or if you have seen in movies, typing some code and entering into the system and all such things. So that's the third phase of hacking, that is gaining access. Then comes the maintaining access. Once you have entered the system, you have to maintain the access, right? So you just maintain the access for the future hacking. Then we move on to the covering the tracks. So you don't want any evidence left over there that you have hacked the system and all such things. So you just cover up the tracks, you just clear cache and all such things in order to prevent the trace back. Then comes reporting. So reporting is basically, that is not, people don't actually practice that phase, but it is recommended to practice the reporting phase as well, because when you become an ethical hacker, you must have to document all the things. So whether it is successful, what all loopholes did you find, and all such things. So if you practice that, it is very good for you. Moving on to the next slide. Danwand? Yes. Yes. Reconnaissance. So throughout each phase, when I explain each of the phase, I will be taking you through an analogy. Okay, so that as a beginner, it will be clear for you guys. Okay, so for suppose if there is a enemy layer in a location, in a building. Okay, and you are an army officer. Okay, imagine that you are an army officer, and there is an enemy, and you don't go directly and go and attack them with all your forces along. You don't do that, right? So what you do is you just collect the basic information regarding the location, where all such things. If it is a building, you will be collecting information regarding number of floors, all such things. So you collect the informations regarding the building, and then only you will set a plan just to attack the building. So similarly, here in hacking, we cannot use tools and directly hack into the system. So we have to understand the target. So we collect some basic information in order to hack the target. Danwand, can you just, yes, okay. So IP address. So IP address is something that uniquely identifies the system. So you collect the basic information regarding IP address. Next, you collect the information regarding IP address range. IP address range, if suppose it is an organization and you don't know which system has a vulnerability. So you collect the range of that IP address. So you collect such information. Also, you collect information regarding network as well as its architecture, DNS record, and all such information you will be basically collecting. And depending on the target, I have to tell that depending on the target, the information varies. Okay, so let's move on to the next phase of hacking, scanning. So scanning, it is as I have mentioned, scanning is the phase where you find out the loophole or the weak point to enter into the system, right? So let me take you back to that analogy that I have already explained. So you collected the basic information regarding the location, as well as the number of buildings and all such things. So now what you have to do is you have to set a plan for that time. So for suppose if it is a terrorist and all, you don't know whether the door have a bomb or any such things. You don't know much about that. So in order to understand that, you have to collect the basic information regarding the entry exit points regarding that building. Similarly, here in the case of hacking, you just scan the target, you find the loopholes, weak points of the system. Can I just note, no, am I audible right now? Can I just
Yes,
check
Majesty,
that?
you are audible right now.
Okay. Thank you. So some of the basic information that you collect during this scanning phase is active ports, active hosts, services, application, and OS. So active ports, active host. So active ports and active host are basically the ports and hosts that are live and running on the system. That is, if suppose it is an organization and there is hundreds of computers, so 10 of them are shut down, so you don't want the information regarding the system which is already shut down, so you only need the information regarding the other computers. So you just check with active pods and active hosts. Then comes the services. It can be like firewalls, inclusion detection, and all such things. Then application, vulnerable application, and OS, operating system. So as I have already mentioned in the beginning about the WannaCry ransomware attack, they just used the loophole, the outdated version. They used the outdated version of Microsoft as a loophole to enter into the system. So similarly, you can find the application or the OS which is outdated, so that you don't know where you will find the loophole to enter the system. So you collect information regarding the vulnerable application or OS. Okay, so moving on to the next phase, that is exploitation or gaining access. Yes. So let me take you back to the analogy again. So the analogy just goes like that. You collected the information regarding the location. You have a plan right now. So you just want to attack. So that's the next phase that you are going to do. So you just attack, right? So as I have already mentioned, you see in movies typing codes and hacking into the system. Actually, this is the phase there that they show in movies. So let's see what is gaining access. So gaining access or exploitation is the phase where you enter into the system. So you have found the loophole, everything, how to enter into the system. So you just enter into the system and hack it. So that's what you do in gaining access phase. Moving on to the next phase, maintaining access. So again, let me talk about the analogy. So you just attacked, but that's not the whole story. After the attack, you have to maintain the access there, maintain the control. You don't want the enemies to come again to that place. So you have to have a control over that place as a army officer. So you have the responsibility, right? So what you do here is you just install some softwares, backdoors or trojans, and then it is easy for you guys to for the future attack. So that's what you do in maintaining access phase. Moving on to the next phase, covering the tracks. Covering tracks. So this is the phase where you erase all the details so that you don't get traced back as a hacker. So some common ways that you do this is like clearing cache cookies or tampering log files. If suppose it is a if you have to type some username, password, and all such things, you have to tamper it. Then closing the ports. If you have installed some trojans or backdoors or whatever, so you have to close the ports or stop those services during this phase. So sorry for that, I didn't mention about the analogy. Basically, I hope you understand what the covering tracks mean. Now, moving on to the next phase, reporting. So if you have gained access in a building and you have done all such things, you just have to report now to the higher official. But when you come to hacking, you don't want to report it to a higher official. You just report it to the target organization. You just summarizes the vulnerability, the tools used, and the success rate of the hack. Okay. So for a successful and effective hacking, you must follow these steps, which I have mentioned right now. That is, this 6 phases. You have to go through these 6 phases for a successful hacking, successful as well as effective hacking. Let's move on to the next slide. Yes, teaming. So I haven't mentioned any names of the team, but it's evident from the colors as well, right? So first one is the red team. So red team, they are the attackers or they are the breakers. So they do offensive hacking, ethical hacking, black box testing, blind testing, social engineering, and all such things. Next is the purple team. So purple team, before moving with purple team, let me explain about blue team so that it will be easy for you guys to understand the purple team. Okay. So blue team is defenders basically. So the red team is the attackers, whereas the blue team is the defenders. So what do they do actually? So they defense in the sense they protect. So they protect the infrastructure, damage control, incident response. Also, they do digital forensics as well. Then moving on to the purple team. Okay, so purple team just facilitate both the red and blue team. So they are also known as advanced penetration testing. They need a deep level of security intended knowledge for a mature InfoSec program. So they facilitate improvement in detection and defense that were actually brought by red and blue team. Then comes the green team. So green team consists of ongoing structured interaction between the blue team and members of the software team. Green team will work together with blue team or purple team and discuss the solutions and improvements. So that's what they do. Whereas yellow team. So yellow team, the ultimate goal of a yellow team is to improve the code-based and design-based defense, capability for detection, incidents response, and data forensics and all such things. Coming on to orange team. So the purpose of an orange team is to inspire the yellow team. Okay, so to be more security conscious, increasing their security awareness by providing education to benefit software code and design implementation. Whereas white team, so finally the white team, right? So white team, they are the third party individuals who set the rules of engagement, organize the teams, set strategy, perform risk assessments, and set plans and monitors the progress. So I have mentioned all 7 teaming. So mainly you just focus on the red, blue, and purple team. Okay. So I'm just briefing, just giving you as a beginners, just I'm giving you a brief idea about the teaming. Okay. So let's move on. Let's move on to the next slide. Yes. So let's see the common attacks. So common attacks, the first one is denial of service. So denial of service is not done for their personal gain, but they harm the other organization by crashing those services or making the service unavailable for users. By keeping them, by causing monetary and reputation harm to the other organization. Next is the password attack. Yes, password attack. So as the name suggests, they just crack the password of the user and access the data. Next is the man in the middle attack. Man in the middle attack. So they just capture the data over the network that is between a victim and a target server. So they place themselves in the victim target server and capture the data and analyze for any secret informations like usernames, passwords, and all such things. Then comes the phishing attack. So phishing attacks, phishing is a cyber attack that uses email as a weapon. So the goal is to trick the email recipient into believing that the message is something important to them. So suppose it is like a request from their bank, or for instance, or it is like someone from their company. so that they click and download the attachment so they can attack easily. So phishing attacks are basically they use the email as a weapon. Then comes the identity theft. So identity theft is a use of deliberate use of someone else's identity. So usually they are used for the financial advantage or in order to obtain the credit and other benefits in other person's name, and perhaps to other person's disadvantage is like they lost their money. Then comes eavesdropping attack. So here the attackers observe the traffic on the system and and what all works you do in the system. They just track all such things. So they can track you, they can wipe calls or collect informations by installing trojans. So that's what they do in eavesdropping attack. So hope it is clear by this that what all are the common types of attacks are. So that's all from my side. Let me hand over the session to hello. Yes.
Hello guys, are you audible to me? Aditya, could you check it?
Yeah.
Okay, so today I'm going to talk about Linux. So most of you would know what is Linux and all. Most of you have encountered that OS in your primary classes or at the classes. So coming to the Linux, Linux is one of the tools that you need in your arsenal for hacking. Not only for just red team, for purple team, blue team, or anything, even for the developers, Linux is so fast and reliable. So it have a tons of advantages when it comes to developers and system administrators. So, and the best thing of the Linux is that it's open source. So what's open source, right? Just think like just more to open source. So open source, actually you can read about the correct definition of open source in this slide. So I'm not going to tell you about that. So to keep it simple, open source is just like a public playground. So you guys can come up, join hands, make a new game, build a new game. You can set the rules and so on and so forth. So about the open source, it is like making a software or any something that you develop with many brains across the world from different geographies. There is no like anything closed things or anything. Anyone can read, inspect, or enhance the code and do anything with these things, which is audited and monitored before pushing. And there's a online website called GitHub. That's where the softwares are built. So that's all for open source. Now coming to the kernel, because the kernel that you really need to learn, because kernel is what make your system different from the other OSs like Windows or Mac OS that use obscurity in this kernel. So kernel is just the core component of the operating system. So just like it also manages the memories. It has a process management, device drivers, system calls, securities, etc. So you guys will be thinking, why should I learn these kernels and all? So well, the thing is that kernel manages out your system, right? So should it be secure enough for a kernel built with the thousands of brain together and developing an auditing systems which will make it so secure, right? So the reason that Linux kernel is the main component of the OS, okay? So it is made by many people around the world. So that fact actually reflects its features along across and Linux. So coming to the reasons, some facts of Linux. So first of all, the Linux kernel, the Linux word as Cisco puts it, it really means to, the Linux kernel. So Linux kernel actually costs nothing. It's open source and it's openly available. So if you guys have an idea, you can go and check it out. You can code it there. And if it's good, it will be pulled out into the next release of the Linux kernel. So then coming to the collaboratively, Linux kernel is the biggest collaborative development that have been taken in the history of computing. Okay. It is made by more than 50,600 developers across the world from different geographies, different companies, etc. And also it powers up more than 90% of web servers across the world, just because it's so secure. Then coming to the frequency that Linux kernel is developed and pushed to the world is nearly 2 to 3 months. So it is a reason that 50,000 something developers are currently even working on Linux kernels, and it also allows you for an infinite experimentation and learning, so that you can use a Linux as way you can do. You can check it out, learn it more, you can tweak it, and everything in this Linux is actually tweakable. So even if you want, just say for a distro like a Kali Linux, so it is booting up and you don't want that Kali Linux to be shown there, you need to put your name. Yes, you can do that, but you cannot do that for Windows or Mac OS or any other OSs like that, because they are proprietary. I have shown you in the slides before, right? So the proprietary means that you cannot directly code or enhance the code what a company has made. Then these are the reasons why Linux is considered as the most secure OS. So you guys might be thinking, why should I need so secure OS? Why can't just use Windows or something? It's fun, right? Actually, it's not like that. For hacking, you need to protect yourself first, right? If you want to attack another guy, you must be protected. Then only it is a successful attack. So Linux kernel has made its way up to the top of most secure OS currently available. And actually the OS terms is like using the Linux kernel, and there are many different branches of Linux kernels and so this class is on cybersecurity, right? So why are not we talking about cybersecurity? So let's see why I'm talking about Linux and what is its use in the cyberspace, the cyber attacking space, and why Linux is chosen by most hackers and so on for so forth. So the main reason hackers use this Linux, it's because in Linux most tools for hacking are written. Okay, just I'm giving you an example about Metasploit, which is used to have many exploits and other stuff, and Nmap, which is network mapper. You will learn that in the following days, coming by other sessions and all. You will learn it deeply. So actually, this Metasploit and Nmap also have versions that works on OS X, the Mac OS and the Windows, but it won't give that much capabilities, right? It won't give that much freedom as in of Linux. Then we are talking more about open source, right? So open source, it have a wide community support, right? For Ubuntu, there's an OS called Ubuntu. You might have heard of it. Okay, it have even a community support page on the internet known as askubuntu.com. So if you want to check it out about the community support, the best choice you can choose is Linux. So coming about the control, Linux actually provides you the granular control from the root. You should know what's granular. It means just like an atomic control or something, which means simply means that you can control like every aspects of this OS, and telling it from the root. The root is actually a name used in Linux environments. It means the most advanced privilege that you can access, right? So you will learn about it in the coming few days. In the tomorrow, in my friends Vishnu's and Flavours class, you will learn more about root and so on and so forth. Then about the transparency, that's a thing, right? The transparency. So comparing it with other OSs like OS X or Mac OS or Windows, some of the other OSs, most of these, for example, let's take Windows, for example. Most of you guys might be using Windows. So talking about the transparency right there, let me tell you that Windows actually uses security through obscurity. So what's obscurity? It means the codes and everything under it is hidden and taken away from the users. They don't want to let you know what's happening behind your systems. So it's just like telling you that you are not in control of the system. So that's so awkward, right? So the transparency that you can get through Linux, which means you can at a point know what all things are coming in and out of your system, what all packets. There are many tools for that, like Wireshark and all. Not only tools, you can actually build up your own tools and all. Then about the process, you can get a snapshot of your processes just as the moment that you need. So talking about the transparency, this is the best option that you can get. So these are the main options that why Linux is actually chosen by hackers. So moving on to the Kali Linux. So I'm gonna discuss about the OSs that are based on Linux. So the first one that pops in my mind is about Kali Linux. So Kali Linux is actually considered to be a professional and standard OS that is rolled out for the hackers because it contains the standard professional hacking toolkit. So I suppose for an hacker, actually using an OS is not much of that. It's just a tool for him. The hacker actually needs two main integral parts of hacking. Being a hacker, that's mindset and skill sets. So considering the skill set that you want to acquire and the mindset, yeah, you want to acquire. But to mold into that mindset, like you may have seen in the movies, hackers are using green screen or black background. So you guys might be thinking, why are they using like that? First of all, it's so soothing for our eyes to look at it for a long time. The other thing is that it sets a mindset in your mind that you want to break things, you are to get through, you guys are made for penetration, you are guys are the, you can see that you can just feel the power just by using the OSs that are clearly and dedicatedly made for these type of actions. So uh, none of the Linux OS is made just for fun or something like that, or everything is made for a purpose. And the next three OS that I'm going to introduce you is clearly made for this thing. Then about the live sessions for forensics. So just think that there's a server which was attacked. So you are like a blue team in a company, which my Majesty might have told you what is blue team and all. So you want to do a forensics on that thing. So you want to get an IP address, you want to get an scan of who any leaving any traces behind, you want to check for anything and all. So using another Linux disk or anything in that server might tamper with that, the environment of the Linux, how it's built on, and how its security is built on. So using the forensic mode in the live sessions, that might get you not tamper with anything in the disk drive or anything. It will put it in a read-only mode, and you guys will be getting a clear, transparent view of the OS underneath that system. So the next thing is the Kali is rolling. So rolling is a word used exclusively by Kali and other Linux OSs. So it means that updates are pushed frequently along with the updates in repositories and all. So there's something that I'm going to introduce to another OS which have a uh, repository that was not updated in a few years or so. Then you can see the motto and all right here. So coming to the another OS that I'm going to introduce you, the Parrot OS. Parrot OS is actually not only for the cybersecurity, it's also used for productivity and software development. It's just a great clutch in the, the privacy defense uh, of a user. So it comes with a Tor and Anon Surf and many other privacy tools that enhance your privacy inside. So if you wanna go to use a OS just not for cybersecurity and other things, you really want to go for Parrot OS. Then second thing I want to tell you is about that it's focused on morely on main desktop. Uh, in my personal perspective, I found this Parrot OS much better, the environment that I can use with. Then the other thing is office tools are included in LibreOffice, an alternative for Windows Office and all, and the other office tools. And also there are Codium from VS Codes for software development, an IDE inbuilt, And there are much many tools. Actually, it have a file size greater than Kali Linux, I think so. Um, then the main thing Parrot ships through is the pre-configured firewall. There are many levels of firewalls that are shipped through. Usually, you can actually strengthen up or make it harder to blend in for a hacker. You can write up your own firewalls and set it up. So in Parrot, there is clearly different levels of firewalls, just like a simple firewall for normal users, and for the paranoid users, a highly extreme level of firewalls for cloud hosting, something in middle, and so on and so forth. So you guys want to check it out while doing Parrot. So in my personal experience, I have once encountered a problem with the firewall that I cannot pass through the SSH configurations and all. So as you can see that Parrot is not only just a OS just for the cybersecurity, it's also an all-in-one framework for cybersecurity, software development, and privacy defense, etc. Then coming for the black eye, this guy is a giant. Okay, it got a tons of tools he built and another ton in the repositories. So if you guys want, you are like hacking paranoid kind of guys, like go for black arc. And not before that, black arc actually have like 16 GB file size of ISO file systems and all. And the UI I did not find it much pleasing because it's not well developed as of Kali or Parrot or other OSs. So it's just have a basic terminal which you can access, and that you can see right here, right? It contains many tools like there are like 2600, more than 2600 tools right in Black Arc Linux. Also, there I have found few reviews in YouTube and so on and so forth about and Reddit, Stack Overflow and etc. That updating Black Arc frequently might hang up into a crash system, or it might make your system worse because none of the repositories are maintained right. So coming back to the Kali Linux that I have mentioned before, it is maintained well and perfectly by another company called as Offensive Security, who made the OSCOP certifications and etc. So actually the black RA ships with like tons of tools that you don't know, and you never knew it even existed in this cyberspace and all. So coming for the other flavors of Linux, these are some flavors of Linux. I have only personal experience on Ubuntu and GBN, not used much others of it. I want to use it. I have used Black Arc also. So about the Ubuntu, I want to say you that it is created perfectly for a software development, or if it is actually made for that. It contains a compatibility that none of the other OSs provides. I had told every OS is made for a purpose, and the purpose of Ubuntu is right into the compatibility. Then for the Debian is known as the universal OS or mother OS. You might want to know that Ubuntu, Kali, and Parrot is based on Debian. Coming to Arch Linux, the Arch Linux is actually for a simple type of disk. It's a minimal version. It will give you a blank space, a free space that you can work on. Then going for the Fedora, Fedora is made by Red Hat, a subsidiary of legendary IBM company. So coming from Fedora, you can also use Fedora security, which focus on more secure environment and ethical hacking sort of things. So Fedora, the reason I put Fedora right here because it also powers many servers and so on for server, like many cloud computers and all. So about the Fedora, it is built on a slightly enhanced kernel, SC Linux. The kernel is known as SC Linux. The SE stands SE. Okay, the SE stands for Security Enhanced Linux. So Fedora is actually something like that. You might wanna hop into any of these. So if you're guys a starter, I will tell you the ways in which you can install this Linux and everything. So you might guys might be wondering, I right now uses Windows. Even though I talk much about the Linux and everything, So actually, the thing is that I'm a fan of Linux, but Windows, most of the malware attacks and everything happens on Windows, right? So actually, you needs Windows, the PowerShell, the command prompt, etc. in your arsenal. You must know that many desktops, nearly I think more than 80% of desktops around the world is powered with Windows. So you actually really need to learn Windows because you should never misunderstand or decommission the Windows from your hacking arsenal. And moving on to the ways which you can install Linux. So this is something you might have or have heard about. Windows subsystem for Linux. This is just like an application that you can use to learn terminal. The terminal is an integrated part and the access right into the Linux environment. In any Linux, you can find terminal. So you will hop into terminal, and so I will show you right now. And about the WSL, Windows Subsystem for Linux, it can be available from the the Windows Store and all. And the thing right here is that you can run any Linux commands that you can directly run on it. And it is actually made for developers that I have told developers mostly use Linux because they have a much better access and control of their systems. So coming to the WSL or the Windows subsystem for Linux, you might want to check it out. It's in the store, it's free, it's available and all. It also ships with the Kali Linux kernel. Actually, it's not Kali Linux kernel, it's slightly developed by the Windows, Microsoft itself. The Microsoft company developed it, but it actually works fine. So you guys just want to hop into an Nmap or Whois or anything like that. You just want to hop into this Windows subsystem for Linux. Also, there's another thing you guys wanna know before using this WSL. It's the disadvantages of it, and believe me, guys, there's are tons of disadvantages in WSL. Just like it doesn't have a much, the control of the networks. If you're going to do a network analysis or anything like that, you should not actually go for WSL. You might have need a native uh, Linux running on directly on your system or at least in your VMware. Then about this, there are many flavors and versions of Linux that is available, starting from Kali Linux, Ubuntu, CentOS, Debian, more Arch, Fedora, anything. Most of them are available. I will just show you right now in my Microsoft systems. So coming to the virtualization plays a good part in learning how to hack. If you guys have a Windows system, just think that Windows system. So you guys might try to install some, just say you guys try to install Kali Linux and unknowingly you formatted your entire system. You unknowingly gave erase my whole disk and install Kali sort of things. So it might get you into trouble, right? So virtualization actually doesn't work that way. You can work in an environment, in a OS, the real OS itself, right? So it actually works on top of the Windows. It is really like partitioning your resources from the system. So just see the snapshot right here. So you can see that there are currently three OS running side by side. So you can run multiple OS in a host system. Sounds interesting, right? And I will show you how to configure, how to get these things into working and all. Oracle VM virtual box actually is openly available and it's free. If you want to go to some professional level or some commercial level, you want to check it out about the VMware. Okay. So coming to virtualization, the best way I said, using VirtualBox or VM. The main disadvantage of using it is that you actually need a system that is like a high-end system. You actually might need more than like at least a 4 gigs of RAM, at least a minimum of 2 gigahertz of processor and so on and so forth, minimum an i3, Intel i3 or anything. The reason is that if you guys are gonna run multiple OSs on a low-end system or backend, simple old systems, you guys might crash your whole system. So just keep in mind that things. If you don't have a system that is advanced, you just think it's not fast enough, you cannot reliably run on virtualization, go for minimal versions like Ubuntu minimal or something. Else you might need to do the live installation. So about the live installation, the live USB is just like helping. Sorry. Hello. Okay. Okay.
No, Danwand, you can continue.
Okay. So telling you guys about the live USB or CD, it's just like using a live USB, live flash drive. The word itself says live, right? Not a dead thing. So it's actually just like plug and play like system. So you can actually connect a USB that have live OS or live boot. You can boot directly from your pen drive or anything like the system. And you guys just think that you have a 4 gigs of pen drive, and you guys have just say Kali Linux running over it. So and you guys are doing a simple CTF like challenge or anything, and you guys might encounter that shortage of multiple storage space in your USB drive, just because that um, the size is limited and you cannot store everything in your USB. You cannot use it as a hardware. Actually, you guys might have get an idea. Using live USB or live CD is just like using an alternative for what do you say, hard disk, SSD or anything like that. So Kali and other few other OSs introduced a persistence mode. You can in this snapshot it's highlighted live USB encrypted persistence. So persistence actually allows you to write the files, write the additional data and everything, write into your system's disk and keeping it right there, and you can access it later, right? And I have told you about the forensic mode, the live, you might understand. There comes a install and all. So keeping the data in the system and using it another time when you want to do it. But there's a problem also. If you guys are going to USB persistence in a remote system or a system like in you're in schools or colleges, you might get your data like if another guy is plugging into the same Kali Linux live USB, he might get your data. So go for encrypted persistence if you are not using it on your computer, because it will encrypt your data that is stored in the disk drive. Okay, so that's about the live USB and CDs and everything. So I will show you just a snapshot of these things about the video subsystem for Linux and virtualization and the live thing that you guys might use some Rufus or something. So let me minimize this. Okay. So guys, this is my desktop window. So let me introduce into the Kali Linux right here. See this? This is actually the terminal. It's loading up. Yeah. See, my username is Rook, and I'm working on laptop. This is a model number of my laptop and all. So let me go to the root directory by cd slash. You can see it just works fine, right? And how to install this this WSL? I will just show you right now. Directly go to Windows Store. Yeah, got it. And this is search option right here, and just go directly put in Linux into it and put enter. So in all dependencies, so you can guys see the nearly 95, right? Here is Ubuntu Kali Linux and multiple LTS versions. This is the latest version of LTS. LTS means long-term support. You might gonna want to work on something, you can use 20.05. It's so awesome. And 18 Debian, SUSE Linux, OpenSUSE that I had discussed you with, the Fedora I had discussed you with, and there are a few and so on and so forth. Okay, you just go directly into the Microsoft Store. So I had told you about kernel, right? So thinking of kernel, let's check it. What the kernel is made up of, right? So there's a there's a command. These commands you will cover it in the later sessions. Just don't worry about it. I'll just show you for the sake of the integrity of this session. So let's go. See the uname INSR, it will fetch you the the versions and other manufacturer of the kernel of a Linux environment. So it is said that, right, 4.4, it is made by Microsoft. The build number is 18362 and something like that. So this is actually your let me check the nmap or anything. Sorry, the apt, the package is right here. So if you wanna guys install nmap or something, you guys can go ahead and just use it for actually a temporal usage. Okay, if you guys want to play some video games or anything and you guys just wanna hop right into this thing, you can just get it from right here in the taskbar. Just go into the store and use it. So coming from the virtualization, I had told you about virtualization, right? So I'll just show you how to set up a environment, a Linux environment. Let me say we can go with the Kali, right? So this is the phase of VirtualBox or the virtual environment. In the left pane, you can see boxes. We call these things as boxes, okay? So these WildWest, Boss Play, CT4, these are all boxes given by Wattlecorp Cybersecurity Labs for my first EvilHours session and all. So I'll show you how to make a new box and all, okay? So let's head into this new thing right here. We want to make a new box, right? We have downloaded the ISO from the internet, so we want to load it right here. So name it, say Kali Linux. I have a Kali Linux box right here, so just for sake, I will go with X, okay? The type is actually Linux. We are doing a Linux, and the version, as it doesn't know which version the Kali works on, actually to work it, I have told you it's based on Debian. So we'll go for Debian. That's a 64-bit version. Okay, then next. So here is a main thing that might make your system crash or not. So just be careful here not to put this slider on this red section right here. This section is red. It means that it might have problems running this VMware because it takes too much resources from your system. Actually, your system is cut into parts. The resources are cut into parts and made for other usages and everything, right? So I'll just go for something like say 3000 something right here. Okay, so 3 gigs of RAM is quite great. Then we can make a virtual hard disk. So every OS just work inside this virtual machine, just work like it's installed on a pure system or a new system or another environment. So it actually needs a hard disk, right? So just we are gonna create a hard disk, just putting it into 8 GB and so on and so forth. Yeah, a virtual box. Just leave these options as it is and try check this dynamically allocated. So you guys not wanna use additional spaces of this disk when you're not using this Kali Linux. Then coming file and location of size, you can put it if your drive is full or something. You can use another. You can browse in another something else. So yeah, just create. Yeah, it's created. So it's a system, right? So you want to just think of it as a system. So we have downloaded the Kali ISO file. ISO is a disk image type of file. So you want to actually put a disk into this system, and this is virtual, and you wanna trick this system into putting a disk right into this. So just head for the settings right for this thing. Okay, there will be advanced description. Sorry. Okay, the system. These are we have set the things and all, and processor counts using single core, dual core, something like that. And the para virtualization, you might sometimes get some some problems with the para virtualization. Just check it with Reddit or something. It might have a problems with your the BIOS settings of virtualization providers and all. So coming to the storage, that's what we want to do, right? So we have made a the we have made a hard disk back about 8 gigs of size. So we want to put a disk right into here. So you want to click this add button, and we have created. If you want to add another, just go into add, and it will lets you to browse in the file explorer. So we have attached a disk right here. So let's choose it. Okay, it's loaded right here, and then okay. So let's start the machine. So the machine will start just from the scratch, just as a system boots up. And you guys might have known a system will boot up so much slower, especially when you are running inside another OS, right? So this is happening, guys. This is actually running inside my Windows machine. This is Kali. Yes, let's go for live. I wanna show you what's live is. Okay, you just don't bother this resolution kind of thing right here, because you can actually increase the resolution once it's booted up, and you can set it up just as you want. Okay, let's boot it up. It's actually a pure new version of this ISO right here. So I have used 2019 version. If you guys wanna go with 2020 or 2020.2, there's some sort of bugs right around here. I haven't gone a few of them. So I recommend using 2019 unless everything clears up on top. You can move on to your new versions, or just experiment. If you are experimentalist, you can directly go with the newer version of Kali. In the case I am a minimalist, so I'm gonna stick up with 2020. So see, the mouse actually is of Kali Linux. So it's actually a small box, right? Let's bring it up. Just take our terminal. The terminal emulator is loading and all. Yeah, okay. So we got the system. So what we checked back there, we checked about the uname -r, right? So we're gonna check about uname -r right here. See this, and we're gonna compare with the Kali Linux of Windows, what it gave. So checking with uname -r, you'll get correctly at different levels, right? Both are different. This is Microsoft and this is the Kali Linux. Both actually Microsoft made their own Linux environment. There's are many trolls and all going on, many memes and all going on in the internet. If you wanna check it out, head to Angag and all. So actually what's bugging me here is the resolution of this. So I just go to the settings in this thing. I just show you how to maximize this thing, because it also already have bugged me around a lot. So here, yeah, have you seen this thing, right? Go to devices right here, and there is a displays, and it's an unknown display. Just don't mind about it. And there's a resolution right of thing. So let's go for something like yeah, 16:10 would apply, right? Keep changes. Yeah, it works fine, right? Okay, so we're gonna power off our system right here. That's power of my machine. Okay, that's it. That's for the virtualization kind of thing right here. And for my Microsoft Store, there are fewer other available. And if you guys gonna go with Ubuntu, it will take a simple time. Yeah, got it. And here is the option is to get. If you click on get, it will directly download into the system, make it an app just like this. Oh, and also I forgot about one thing about the WSL. Guys wanna actually enhance a feature in this window. So about the WSL, okay, about the WSL, I want to tell you about enabling a feature that you might miss out or something. So just head to Windows, features on and off. Yeah, right. It will load it. Yeah, right. These are my Windows features that I have installed, and here, right here, just look at this. Windows Subsystem for Linux need to provide a service and environments for running native mode user level based OSs right in your Windows, just as any other applications. So that's it for with the Windows features. So you guys wanna think that right? You guys might be thinking, so right, I want to know more about Linux and about the file systems and the file hierarchy, about the permissions, granny permissions, getting another host, hardening the system, and getting into ethical hacking and all. So we are actually, yeah, let me see. Yeah, 50 minutes over than the estimated time. So I'm gonna tell you a thank you slide. We'll end it here. So if you guys wanna install any OSs, I have not provided link in any of my slides before. Here is it. So thank you guys. Thank you for the class. Thank you, Wattlecorp, Cybersecurity Labs, and everyone help me with here. Tomorrow, my friends Vishnu and Fawaz will take the Linux environment and other classes and so on and so forth. Thank you for cooperating and listening to this class. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Danwand and Majesty. It was a great session. And there's a small announcement. We'll be sharing a form with you guys now in the chat. And those who want a digital certificate, those who fill the form will get a digital certificate. So be sure to fill the feedback form. It will be up in a while. And again, thank you, Danwand and Majesty. It was a great session. I hope everyone got a fair idea about the cyberspace and how Linux plays a role in it. And as Danwand mentioned, tomorrow we'll have a session on Linux file system and file operations. So be sure to join us for that. I'm sure you'll find it interesting. And now, if anyone has any questions for our speakers, you can ask us in the chat. Um, if you have any queries you want to ask the speakers directly, you can ask.
Hello, guys. I'm open for any questions regarding Linux, and Majesty, I believe she will be open to any questions behind regarding the basics of ethical hacking. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anyone? Any questions at all? Okay, we have one
Okay,
question.
Nilesh have asked me which is better, the VMware or VirtualBox or DualOS in Kali and Windows, I believe, right? So my recommendation is that if you guys wanna experience, wanna use this Kali Linux directly in your systems, so you guys wanna go with the DualOS boot, I recommend that. I actually quadruple boots my system, including Windows, Parrot, Ubuntu, and Kali Linux. So about the dual OS thing, if you just, it's a bit of thing that you need to grasp in installation. After that, it's work smoothly and very fine. About the VirtualBox and VMware has a community edition and a professional edition. I have seen both, and I believe professional version is much better than any other two of these. And VMware professional system also needs you to pay money. Some bits I don't remember the correct amount of the money. So going with VirtualBox is better. As a student, means as a student of cybersecurity, I believe using the VirtualBox is right enough for you guys. If you don't want to mess up your system, try to double boot and leaving grep out or anything. So that's, I believe that you understood my answer correctly, right, Nilesh? Yeah, okay. WSL introduction. Okay, how to set up that in your system? From Tushar Goyal. Thank you, man. So about WSL, I had told you, right? It's how to set up in your system. It's actually really available. So if you guys want to learn more about using the terminals, right? So if you guys want to learn about using terminal, that's a better option. So just to install it directly, sign into the Microsoft account, go to Microsoft Store, and in Store, if you guys search Kali Linux or Linux, you can get directly download it. And there's a small trick you need to do is to turn on the Windows feature on. I have shown you in the video tutorial, right? It's a simple step. You can find the answers right in Stack Overflow or any other, Rapid 7 blocks or any other. Thank you, Tushar Goyal. I hope you understand. Okay, question from YouTube, other question, what is Kerala Cyberdome? Kerala Cyberdome is actually the community wing of Kerala Police cyber cell actually. So what we do right in Cyberdome is that there is actually a plenty of spaces available to host your ideas, anything you want to develop. There's a space that you have. Secondly, you can support them, support their communities, etc. You can make up, right? Every support. We are actually not into the investigation part or anything like that. It is not there anything. Just going directly right into supporting the Cyberdome community. Just as EvilHoursX is a community wing of Wattlecorp, uh, just as Kerala Cyberdome is a community wing, right? Okay, another question from Tushar Goyal. Are WSL and VirtualBox or VMware the same thing? No, absolutely not. VirtualBox and VMware are entirely independent and different uh, softwares. VMware, I believe VirtualBox is from Oracle, and VMware is actually another software that you can virtualize. VirtualBox and VMware are used to virtualize, right? And WSL, about the WSL, it is directly made by the Windows. I mean the Microsoft incorporated company that runs just as an application in your system. Okay, that's it. Not three of these things are same thing, but in a way that you wanna run in your system, just in your Windows system. You can guys go for any of these. Okay. Can we use pendrive as an OS? From another question from Dark Shadow 04. Can we use pendrive as an OS, not as live? Sorry, can we use pendrive as OS? Okay, not as live, but as installed OS. When plugged and boot menu, it should start the OS. Actually, about that, there is something like the first thing that boots so the first software that runs is the BIOS, right? This is then after the BIOS, it loads up the bootloader. So coming to the bootloader, it should take from the pen drive if it is configured correctly and really. It's actually a deep question. I think I should not go into it because to secure the integrity of this session, which is for beginners and all. So also I am a bit confused. I think it won't because that's why there's a live option. Okay, there are other questions from e-poll to everyone. Sorry, Dark Shadow, I think you understood, right? And Tushar Goya. Okay, going to e-poll. Can we perform all commands and techniques of Linux in WSL? Hacking and ethical commands. Yes, of course, you can execute every commands that is in the Linux, restricted to some that's coming to a greater disadvantages of WSL. Like going deep into the networks, doing scans, higher activities, everything just like that. I have told you, Nmap doesn't have the reliability into Windows. It works fine on Linux, but it doesn't have much power in Linux. So that's a difference right there. And how is NetHunter distro different from Kali full? Will it be the same thing if we install Kali full from inside NetHunter? Okay, that's a from Stack Road. I haven't talked about Kali NetHunter right here. Because the thing is that I have used Kali NetHunter in my phones. You can see that here. Okay, the NetHunter distro is actually from the Kali Linux, but it is you can if your phone is rooted, you can run it as the root device. You can directly install in NetHunter, provided that your phone supports. If your phone is unrooted and you have term as uh, another thing, another app, so the NetHunter will also perform in that, but using something called p root, p root or something. I think I should check in more about it. And about this NetHunter thing is that it will never, okay, even after installing the Kali full, form inside the NetHunter. There's a command to run install fully in the NetHunter. It will never give you the the compatibility of a Linux OS or a base OS directly running your system to be ran on a phone, starting from the hardware resources and the the dedication that you can give to the Kali Linux or the Kali kernel. That's a difference right there. But NetHunter is actually a good better than other using just a plain terminals or things. You can actually use to learn commands or just like that, many things and all. Okay, another thing from Musavir Khan from, I think it's from the YouTube or something. How to use multiple OS together? Do we need to install separately from any VirtualBox or Oracle VirtualBox install? So about using multiple OSs together, no, actually you can run multiple OSs from VirtualBox. It will run parallelly if provided that your system have enough resources that you can allocate to all these OSs right into it. Then how to use multiple OS together? So it's a bit tricky that if you guys have Windows OS, I'm talking about the boot thing at the time of boot. If you guys have the Windows, which is mostly pre-installed, and you guys install the Kali Linux comes with a grep. Grep means Grand Unified Bootloader, and the grep thing will actually finds out. It actually gets into the system and finds out. Oh yeah, there's a guy called Windows. Let's put it inside me. So it will actually catch the Windows, and at the time of boot, it will show you should I choose Kali or Kali recovery mode or a bit like that, or use Windows bootloader from say some drives and all. Or if you guys have multiple OSs, the newest or the latest install of the grep will take other OSs and put it inside them. And if you guys, can get it into directly that, no, there will be a conflict in grub band also. Okay, I believe Musavir Khan, you understood. Okay, yeah, thanks to Goyal. He said he understood. Happy to hear that. And Dark Shadow of 04, thank you, guy. Sorry, thank you, man. From Ranjit Philip to everyone, it's off topic. Okay, I think we should not talk off topic here because it might violate the integrity of the whole session. Then, but can today's Wi-Fi WPA2 encryption be cracked? Oh, sorry, man. Actually, I'm not an expert on Wi-Fi or wireless attacks or anything. I haven't actually used a single tool in my life to actually hack Wi-Fi sort of things. Never gone into that. I'm not proud of it. Okay, really, I'm not proud of it. But the thing is like that. So, if you guys wanna hack in with the next upcoming sessions, those guys are much better knowledge and have more experience than me. So thank you, Ranjit Philip. Sure, just ask these questions on following sessions. Okay, thank you, Ranjit. Abdul Shalami to everyone. Which OS is the best? Yeah, I actually, bro, I have also been in your shoes. Uh, I was checking which OS would be the best one for hacking that and all. And I have got in a few conversations, heated conversations, of course, across my friends and all. So about that, it is just like asking, which food is the best? Can you say the answer? Which food is the best? So according to me, I might like biryani, but according to Aditya, he might love rice or anything. Every OS is actually made for a different purpose. And if you guys gonna ask for which OS is best for the penetration testing, feel free to find out, because I'm not according to me, I could recommend only, I could not say it's best. I would recommend Kali Linux. And if you guys get an old system, you guys can go for Parrot OS. Thank you. I think Abdul Salam, you understood my opinion about it, not an answer, actually opinion. So from Adil Krishna, may say that PowerShell is more advanced than Bash. What's your opinion in terms of pen testing and system exploit? So my friend, about this bash and PowerShell, it is taken in depth and in more concise form tomorrow by Vishnu and Fawaz, my friends. So if I gonna answer that, I will be like interfering their sessions and so on and so forth. So feel free to ask this question tomorrow. Okay. I believe Adul Krishna, you understood my answer. And then from YouTube, okay, many say that PowerShell is more advanced than Bash. What's your opinion in same pen testing and systems? Wait, isn't that a question that repeated just right now? Wait, okay, I'm gonna stop that right now. I let tomorrow Vishnu and Fawaz answer that because my part is only Linux, and actually I'm not more experienced in PowerShell. I have few commands and so on and so forth. I am more experienced in Bash and using such and few other things. And I really, honestly, I'm not proud of not knowing PowerShell. I really want to know. But actually, tomorrow Vishnu and Fawaz will answer that question. Feel free to ask tomorrow. Okay, okay. Okay, thank you. I believe Adul Krishna, you understood right. Then about this question is out of scope from session R8. Oh, okay. Okay. This is my friend actually, Abhiramabi. He told me that this is for the session R8. So just hang on tight for that session. Really, I cannot answer it. Okay. So feel free to ask anything about kernel Linux or Linux. If I know, I will answer. If I don't know, I will tell you later, or my friends will convey that to you in the upcoming classes and the future classes. Thank you. Then we'll be happy to answer underscore questions. Okay, my friend Vishnu have told me that yeah, right. It's better not to ask out of scope questions regarding that, because it's actually the beginner friendly, right? So I don't want to tamper that integrity of this session going out of scope and actually making fear out of the beginners and all. You guys will get it, right? I promise you guys will get it in the future sessions and all. Okay, thank you.
Okay. We
From
have we
Bharat,
can take two more questions
yeah, of
before
course.
we wind up for the night.
Okay.
Yeah, Nilesh, you can ask the question. I see that you raised a hand.
Also, guys, we have a Telegram group of EvilHoursX, so you can ask your questions, and it's a knowledge sharing community. So the link will be posted shortly, so you can join the Telegram group, and we can exchange ideas there. You can ask any question there, and we'll be happy to answer it for you in the future.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Okay, it's okay, Nilesh. Thank you. Okay. And Sharath Shashidharan Nairman. Okay. You are doing a great job. Okay, thank you, man. Thank you for that. Really, I love appreciating me. Everyone will love, right? And Dark Shadow 04, thanks for just great session. Okay, thank you for being with us. Thank you for listening and all. Thank you, man. Really appreciate it. Then Sakrok 2, yeah, thanks, man. Good session. Yeah, of course, Sakrok 2. I think Rock means Republic of Gamers, right? High five, grand. High five. Okay, thank you, man. Okay, about Amjad Salil. Hi, Amjad Salil. Thanks, a great section. Okay, actually, he's a guy just sits near me in my class. Actually, it's just a little okay. He's my real my companion, my friend in my profession. Okay, thanks for being here, man. Okay, also
so
Jishnu's good session, and thank you, man. Okay, Adul Krishna, thank you for, yeah, I would really love to clear your doubts and and go on with Roshan. I believe you guys actually enjoyed my session. You guys just got it on right.
So if we have no more questions, I think we can wind up for the night.
Yeah, of course, we have actually attacked the time like 30 to 40 minutes, right? If you guys don't have any few more questions or just ask one or two, we are planning to wind up right now. Any questions regarding the basics of hacking that Majesty took from her side and so forth?
Okay, so I guess that's it. Thank you, Danwand. Thank you, Majesty. And we
Okay,
will be
wonderful
looking
session.
forward to seeing all of you tomorrow and in the future sessions. Just another reminder, tomorrow's session will be on Linux file systems and file operations. So looking forward to see everyone there, and thank you for joining us.